Good morning, everybody. Just want to get started here. It's 10 o'clock. We're running about a minute behind. So my apologies. So I just want to say hello to everybody, whether you're on YouTube, streaming horizontally, vertically, my Facebook friends, Pinterest friends. If you're coming from any platform, welcome, welcome, welcome. So today is Friday, April 17th. We are in the midst of spring. It's hopefully going to be a beautiful day. It was raining a little bit this morning, but I hear it's going to dry out. I can honestly say I took my very first bike ride yesterday on Ocean Drive, and it was just amazing. I took Libby. We had such a great time, got a little color, and I got home and I was exhausted. But today's Friday. It's a new day, and we're going to get downstairs. We're going to see what's going on in the grow room. Took a little quick peek this morning. So we're going to keep this light and fluffy today. Not a whole lot, but I'm really, really excited to get down there and see what's under the dome, under the seed dome first. So let's get going. Just got to grab my coffee. Be right there, guys. I can't get into the grow room without my caffeine. It's like mother's milk. I swear, if there's one thing that I could not give up, it would be my coffee. I literally can drink it all day. All right, guys, welcome. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Friday. I keep saying that. I'm excited for the weekend. It's going to be beautiful here, hopefully in Newport. A little on the cooler side, but I am excited to just get that sun out. I'm working on my backyard. I'm going to take you guys out there, but not right now. Not till it's done. I'm still in phases of designing, putting some pots out, and then in my mind, what's going where. So I've got stuff in the front of the house, stuff in the back of the house, and all I hear is my husband saying, "Stop spending." And I just go, "No. You promised me last summer when we were trying to finish up our project that I could do what I needed to do." And so I'm holding him firm, and he's just looking at me, but that's okay. I told him this is going to be our oasis this summer. So we've got lots of construction that's happening right around us, and we won't be spending a lot of time in the front of our house just because that's where it is. So I just said, let me make this beautiful, our oasis, and so we can just hang out here and just really take in life and some wellness. All right, I want to get going. I want to keep this short and sweet for you guys. And I want to see the things that we did yesterday and just make sure that what we did is still holding and healthy. So let's go on over to the seeds. I can't believe it's been another week. It just amazes me of the growth that happens and the time that flies. Let me just switch over to the seed cam for you guys. Bear with me. There we go. Okay. Let's get into the seed cam. Come on. There's always this like little like 1-2 second delay between upstairs and here. And then of course I want to put on our close up because that's how we get to share a little later. People are loving that. So by the way, I know people have to work or they're busy with kids with drop off. And, now that we're coming to the end of school season, people are, they're volunteering for field trips and things of that nature. So I get it. I lived in a big town once upon a time that had all that stuff. So if all you can catch is the rewind or the close up live later, then you do that. You do you. All right. So I'm just taking off the top. Let's just take a peek. I'm going to shuffle a few things down here and then put a little bit of light. So we've got a better, there we go. Just got to let it click in for a quick little second there. All right. And then get the close up so you guys can get right down in there. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm seeing some stuff. I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer. Let me get a tool, maybe a pair of glasses. Okay, what do we see? So right here on the 4 lettuce, which is right here, let me just see if you guys can, yeah, you can kind of see it, is some pop-ups. So we're at day 2, 48 hours with the cover on and vents closed. Now, you know that we made a pivot this week with the cucumbers, and we were going to add, if you've been following along, 2 sections in the existing cucumber tower. And then, of course, the next day, I had a restless night and was thinking about, well, why do I want to do that? It's producing lots and lots of cucumbers as is. However, when it's at that point, and I haven't really seen a lot of flowers to pollinate, it's more just the female. It's time to think about, turning it over. So that's where I am. And that's what we did yesterday. So if you watch that close up or tuned in, we took down the old summer squash tower, and I'm going to get really close. Make sure you guys can still see them. So if you're looking right here and you're looking right here, there are 2 cucumbers, and these are the first 2 that we did, and they've already got some little sprouts. Now I got aggressive with those 2, and I put 3 seeds. I can't really tell how many have sprouted. At least 1 or 2 in this one, and there's definitely 2 in this one. Now all the other seeds we planted yesterday in the morning. So I think because I've got some stuff that's here and some stuff, we're at 48 hours. So I'm going to make an exception to the rule just to get the other cucumbers up to speed. I'm going to put the cover back on for another day with closed vents. I want to sweat those seeds just a little bit more to kind of catch everybody up. I kept seeing, I should say, keep seeing, there was another post, and I was thinking about this, and it's been a little bit since I've done a podcast where I'm just sitting at my desk and we're going through some of these comments. Let me just switch the camera. Let's see. I think the 180 is the best for the green beans, where we're headed next. One of the things, is kind of reviewing other comments without obviously saying who they are. Actually, I can look up here so you guys can see me. Because, and I feel so bad. I have to be very careful when I'm in, some of these groups and these people are really suffering, because all they got to do is just click on my profile and see who I am and then come over here. And I know the moderators get really mad. I've actually got kicked out of one group for trying to help somebody. A moderator got upset. And I'm like, why? I'm just trying to help somebody. So, it is what it is. You're not going to change those people. But anyway, I don't really respond a whole lot in the groups. I just try to take that, that question, block out some names. And in the podcast, if you go back and you watch some of that, you will see that I cover it. So this one girl, it's my story, she's got a bin similar to this, a little bit different. And she's like, look at my seedlings. They're, a week old, and it's just like one tiny little, lettuce seed. And she's like, and it was on a warming mat. And I'm like, okay, no other details, just on a warming mat. So I don't know if she put it into a dark closet or there was lights on involved, or she put it on the edge of the tower. Some people do that. I don't recommend it. I've tried it. It doesn't really work. My method for phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 plants, it starts right there every single time. And as you get to know me, you get to know this channel, I never, ever deviate on how I germinate my seeds. Never. The only time I would do something different is if I'm taking a seed from a grocery store, just making sure you guys can see me, a grocery store like pepper, okay? And I take the peppers out, I rinse them, I put them in between a paper towel, and I have a video in my, channel on peppers. I put them inside of a Ziploc bag like this, literally. I want to show you. I put the seeds, I lay the seeds out on the paper towel, okay? I wet it. This isn't wet. I'm just doing this for demo. I take a generic Ziploc, whatever bag, something you can see through. I take the paper towel. This is wet with the seeds, all right? I put it to the end. Now this is flat. I'm just doing this kind of vertically here for you. I turn it over. You can close this if you want. I tend to leave it open for just a little vent. This is wet, this is flat, and there's not a whole lot of air in it, all right? What I do next, I put it on my warming mat. I leave it there. And as I'm growing other stuff, I leave the mat on. It doesn't necessarily need light at that point. But each day, I flip it, okay? Another 24 hours go by, I flip it. At 2 days, I'm nosy now. So now I want to go and I want to open this. And I very carefully, and make sure you have the opening to the paper towel to you. I get in here and I am nosy Nelly going, yes. Those little pepper seeds now have a teeny tiny sprout to them. They're not ready yet. Close it back up, nosy Nelly. Cover it. Put it back on the warming mat for another day until that little root gets just a little bit bigger. Then you take your rock wall that's been soaking, you get your container, and you put that root down and the seed up, okay? You put the cover back on, you close your vents just like you were going to do with any other seed. You're just sidestepping the process of buying a packet, okay? That's it. And then after maybe a day or two, you let them sweat, let them like continue to grow, open the vents. And I would really just try to, drain that water from the top like I just did, like you just saw. I don't know why that just stopped. I don't know. And probably because I didn't turn it on. Let them grow. Let them grow for a little bit until they get to the point where they're maybe like this high, from the cover, and take it off. And then just use your spider lights and adjust your spider lights according so that you don't burn the leaves, especially pepper leaves, because they're very fragile. And then when you have the root ball that looks like little spaghetti on the bottom, you put it in your tower. I don't deviate. Every time I've tried something different, epic failure. Okay. So I see these people struggle and I go, why don't they come to YouTube and do a little more research? I'm not picking on them, please. I'm not being mean. But I want to do strawberries. I'm scared to death of the bare roots. I just am. I want to do it, but sometimes I just don't trust seed companies, especially that. I don't want to introduce anything soil down here because it could lead to other issues, meaning aphids. Most times it's probably just fine, but I'm not going to chance it. So yesterday I'm at Whole Foods and I go, okay, I can do this. I watched this woman take the side of a strawberry with the seeds and it's got some pulp. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into a clean, like if you watched yesterday, I'm going to lay it flat, And I know that the strawberry will get moldy and I can probably pick that off. But what I'm looking for is the seeds to germinate. So I've never tried this before, but it's the only way that I can think would be the cleanest way that's not soil based. I'm going to wash the strawberry first, obviously. That's not going to introduce any pest into my room, because I introduce one pest and I am in big trouble, even though I've got ladybugs and they will do their job. But who knows? Maybe they go on strong. I don't know. But anyway, let's get going to the green beans. Enough about the strawberries. Stay posted. But again, I never, ever deviate. And that's how you germinate a seed from a grocery store, whether it be cucumber. You gotta put them in this. Peppers. I'm trying to think what else you could do. I mean, I could try it with the strawberries, but the seeds are so small that I think I'd rather let them have the sugar from the actual skin and then just worry about the mold later. Stay tuned on that. All right, green beans up. Here we go. So guys, when I told you earlier, oh, look at this little ladybug right there, that these things go like crazy. They do. Earlier in the week, as you're going to see, I'm going to be posting that highlight reel tomorrow morning after I load this one into it and then just do the intro. So that green bean that you're looking at right now in the close-up, and you probably can't see it right here on the cameras because it's in a blind spot, but in the close-up you're going to see that is, do I have a ruler? I don't. Probably 4 inches. That's what it grew overnight, like literally this week. So they just go crazy. And clearly, Mr. Ladybug is in agreement. All right, moving on. So if you saw the live this week, you know that the cloned tomato tower got a little haircut, not a big haircut. It was very, very minor compared to what I did to the other one. So what I did was it forced the flowers that are on there to come on, hurry up, let's go, let's go ahead and take that energy from, instead of growing foliage, to putting it into the energy of growing the fruit. And so as a result, I feel like now that we're at the end of the week, not only can you still see a lot of the tomato flowers, but they are closed up, which means hopefully, I would say, 80 to 90% are pollinated. But just for fun, let's see if I can get some pollen out of that flower. No, I got these pretty good the other day. So I think most of them have released their pollen. And once they release, they close up, fall off. I do. Most of these are closed up, so I'm not really, well, maybe that one. There's a little bit. What I just noticed, there's a branch that's, this is the green bean branch that I've been playing around with. It now wants to be part of the tomato tower, and it has green beans on it right there. So, yeah, wants to be part of that tower. And that's fine. I'm going to just let it do its thing. All right. This is our older tower, still in really, really good shape. And if you can go back and you compare, and you can do this, you can go into the highlight reel of last week and fast forward just to the sections of this particular mature tomato tower. You can see that the foliage is what? Grown back in. So what I do love is that, and I each day I keep looking, and then there's one right there. So we'll go ahead and just tap that and see if we can't get a little pollen. I must have hit it yesterday. Isn't this loud? it brings the new meaning of be your own bee to a whole new level. Let's see if I can get some pollen out of this guy. A little bit. I think I got these pretty good. But what I am seeing right here is some new suckers. Okay, this is all new growth. All new. And I'm sure there's some in the back as well. Even down there. That's all new. So I'll have to get back there. I wonder if there's flowers back there that I don't see. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull it out and see if I can't get back there and pollinate if I need to. Oh my God, this is so loud. And there's a few. If I find a flower, I should get up close to the mic here. If I find a flower that's on the inside, like way, way, way in the inside of that tower, I generally won't pollinate it. I'll leave it alone because as the foliage grows in, what happens is that I won't see that and it will rot and create what? Powdery mildew. So I've learned over time just to let it go. If you only have one tomato plant, then yes, go ahead and pollinate. I get it. But for me, I got so much going on, excuse me. The tomato pollen is getting to me. All right, let's go take a peek at the broccoli. The broccoli is getting big. It's kind of scary now. I know that this gets really big. And, you know, I planted a fair amount. So as you can see, what's my rule right here? I try not to have things over the lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle some of these leaves away. I'm going to find a leaf that I can, whoops, not crack. That would be 3 for 3 this week. And just kind of keep them away. I don't want to trim them, not yet. But man, oh man, the stems are getting thick. They're getting thick. I'm going to take you out back. I'm going to show you one. Look down. Okay. I'm gonna pivot this and see if I can zoom in a little bit to right there. Look how thick that's getting. So it's really pretty. I do love this. And I really am kind of excited to harvest when it's time, of course. I planted it all at the same time. All right, let's move on to the big boys. So yesterday, if you tuned in, I pollinated. Just gonna tighten this up a little bit. 2 flowers, 2 zucchini, and we reviewed what happens when. Let me just move this out of the way for you. When one of the flowers is facing down, the one that we pollinated to the right, you can see right there, it's got that bloom, that kind of that balloon effect. So I have a feeling that that's pollinated. And then the one that's deeper down to the left, behind that flower right there, that's facing down. And again, that has the balloon effect, maybe not as at the same level as that one. I feel like this one's a little more closed, which indicates it's pollinated because it's been 24 hours. And that one is kind of. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on them because once they're pollinated, I know those guys, they pop and they grow real fast. Although I do see one back here. So why don't I do this? Why don't I pull out the tower? This is actually really good news. I'm going to clean my brush. And I do have a flower. I'm going to snip it because it's in a different region of the tower, and it just makes it easier. Instead of walking back and forth. So let's find where it is. It's pretty much on the floor. So we're gonna go down, down, down. And we're gonna upskirt to where it is, right there. Let me get the flower. And it's on the back side, so let's go ahead and pollinate. I've got a nice flower that's kind of open, but the pollen is nice and fluffy like I like. And this has a really pretty interior. Usually there's only 4, but I feel like this has got like, looks big. And there is a flower above it, so I'm going to attack that in 1 minute. Notice how I like to start on the outsides, kind of coat, and then I just try to get into the center without breaking any of those little nodes. That's pretty much it for that flower. So let me reach above it. Can you guys see right there? So I'm gonna keep you guys there and just, I'm gonna try to bend it down. Ooh, yeah. This has got really nice pollen that's open. Look at that. That is powder. That is gold. I'm gonna get a little bit more because that is primo. If that was outside, man, those bees would be all over that. They would strip it in 2 seconds. I was amazed at the bees when I had those round zucchini last summer, at the end of the summer. Every morning I'd go out there and every flower that opened, it was stripped. But they were inside, you know, they'd grab it and they'd go around and they'd go do their job. So I feel good about this. That is just really, really good. I'm happy with that. So let me tilt this back up for you. And since we're here and we're in the back, let's take a peek. So these are the seedlings that we planted, and look at right there. Look at that baby. I'm telling you, this seed loves the tower. It's the survival seed, and the zucchini brand or the kind is called Black Beauty by Survival. You can go to the website, which is scrolling at the very, very bottom of the live right now, towergardeningmadeeasy.com. Go under my favorite seeds. Right there. Look at those. One there and one there. You see that? Yes. So these were the little babies that we tossed in there, that they were extra from last week. And I know that, sorry, excuse me, the nutrients on this guy are pretty high. I'm going to adjust this light back here so we can, there we go. And one of my concerns was that it was too high for those guys. So they seem to be doing okay. I'm just going to leave them there until they're a little floppy, and maybe we, at that point, can move them. You know, maybe there's something back there that gets tossed because it's just getting too old. I can actually see that one in the very back. You see that stem right there to the left? You know, it's kind of right here. Eventually that's going to go. It's going to have to, because it's just below the tower. And this is the one that we removed the other day. And look what happened. So that plant was right here. But this leaf and this leaf right here has filled in over the net pot. So, although I want to check that EC. So hang on for 1 second, because I just feel like it's just a little high. Although, even though I did do a check. Sometimes when the water evaporates, you know, the nutrients, they're not going to go with it. And it's still pretty high. It's reading 2.42. So it's kind of on the money. But I see a little edging on the new leaves of brown. So that tells me that maybe the pH is up just a little bit, but I can check that later and adjust it. There's plenty of water in there, so I'm not really worried about that. But let's move on. Let's go to the new zucchini tower. Let me shift the camera. I get going, I get talking, and I just totally forget that we can shift this. So let's go left. Whenever this goes to sleep, it stops sharing. There we go. Let's go. Let's go left. There. Perfect. I'm just loving the size of this new, and I know this might be a little bit of a blind spot for this camera, so my apologies. Although, you know what? Let's drag it out. Why not? It's Friday. And I'm really, really, really curious to, see what's inside. So I'm going to bring this out. This tower is going to be center stage. So let me just back this up for a quick second so I can get the tower with the cords kind of in that money shot. Let me just look and see. I think it's in the money shot. Yes, kind of. If I move, let me just push the empty tower over a little bit more. God, they're so light when they're empty. There's like nothing in it, no water, no nothing. And move it over just a smidge. I think you guys can see. I'm almost at a cord here. But what I want to do is I want to get the close-up. And, okay, so this is one of the newbies that we planted last week. That actually looks pretty good. Actually better than the ones that are in the big boy. So let me just get into here. This all looks really good. But it's starting to get a little congested, so I do get worried. Okay, so right there, right where my finger is, that's a little tiny baby zucchini. And then down below, I don't know why that's doing that. I don't want that. There and there, those are those newbies. And they've got Some good sized leaves. Let's go into this one. What do we got here? I really haven't had to trim, pull. There have been no leaves that have, even suspect. I don't like this though, right here. See how this leaf overlaps this leaf? So when I touch this leaf in the middle, it feels damp. That's a no-no because it will start to rot. So I think what I will do, I got you guys right here. I don't think I can redirect it. I can certainly try, and I can do a little folding method where you put them against each other and let it dry out. I really just don't want to have to clip anything because it's right there in the center, kind of like the crown of it. So I'm going to curl it down and do one of these guys. So it will curl to dry it out. And I'll check it later versus having to get rid of it. Okay, so let's get in here. I'm going to move that light just a little bit. Here's another one. I'm going to have more zucchini than I know what to do with. So if you look right in there, and there, you get a couple little ones, little baby ones going on down here. So this one right here is, see where the wands are? So let me just back out for a quick second. So the wands are, let's just say if this was a clock, 12 o'clock kind of in the middle, 6 o'clock at the very bottom, we're kind of like 10 and 2. It's a little bit smaller than this one because it's just not getting the light. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to bring the light and it's going to move on me. This is the light that gives me trouble all the time. Oh. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. I don't want to deprive the others of light. I don't want to disturb the growth, but I got to move it so that it can kind of catch up. Once it catches up and it grows out, maybe if I bring this leaf a little bit, kind of fold up this. Once it comes out, then it will fight for the light that it needs, but it's shadowed. See it? See how dark it is in there compared to here? Today's close-up, when I loop this, pay attention to that one little area about how dark that leaf section is. And if you've got a section, then know that that's the problem. Just adjust your lights just a little bit. Don't do it every day. Move them in, move them out a little bit, angle them, and then leave it alone for a couple days and let it catch up. It will. So I'm going to go ahead and move this back. This all looks really good. I'm super, super happy. I'm very pleased with the stock of seeds that I germinated and grew. It just tells me that I'm right on line with the big boy. We're going to have big boy 1 and big boy 2. I love it. All right, so let's get to the new summer squash. Now we don't have a second one, so this is the summer squash. And this is what we did yesterday. So let me go ahead. I can pull her out now. Get her in the money shot. I can rotate a little bit too. That's a little bit of cord there. So this guy right here is what we transplanted off of the old one. And I see a leaf that got cracked. So let me get that. Probably in the moving, I must have missed it. But there's a crack right there. I heard something, but I didn't know where it was. But so now we got it. Oh, the sun's coming out. I'm so excited. So, to get back to this, does this have a lot of longevity? Maybe. Probably not as long as one of the new ones, but I saved it because there is a viable fruit right there that we pollinated and it's growing. So I'm just going to leave it alone and see. I'm okay with that little section. It all looks really, really healthy. And that little end is good. So, and then this is the one that we pollinated, I want to say Monday maybe. This looks good. This is closed up, and we've got another one ready to pop down there. Leaves look better except for that one up there. So let me just cut that. Again, why is it doing that? Because let's look at this. Let's be logical. So, because we just did the zucchini, right? So if I lift this leaf very carefully, and then I lift this leaf, and then this one right here, and then I lift that one, what do you see? I know you guys can't see it, but in the close-up, it's yellow, and it's shadowed by this guy. So I'm going to get in here and just, wow, these stems are really just super fragile. It's so odd. Usually they've got a little bit of give, and then I'm going to cut that one on the bottom. I'll come back later and then get real close to the stem so that we don't have anything mulching down in there. But that's going to just give a little extra airflow. And that's a perfect example of staying on point. Oh, we got one right there. But the question is, do we have a flower? I think we do. We got to pollinate that, but oh wait, there's one down there. Let me I got to turn the fan around. It is roasting in here. Okay. Let me get my pollinator. Okay. Oh, there's one on the inside too. Oh, I didn't see that one. That's not going to make it. I've got this little flower on the end. This is another reason why I saved this, because I needed, oh, there's two. Oh, okay. Well, okay, dilemma. So here we go. We've got one dried up flower, which I'm going to go ahead and pull. And I've got, I move this light. This feels wet too. So, oof, I don't, oh no, it does. Okay, it's kind of powdery. So we're going to get in there. I'm going to have to share this between the two. So I'm going to tip it up. I'm going to do my best. I don't have a lot of pollen. I meant to save some of those flowers. That's why I brought down that Ziploc bag. But of course, we got into it and running over, and I think we went like, I think the close-up was like an hour and 20 minutes. It was long. All right, so I'm going to do the other half down here. You know, it's real small. I don't have a lot of hope for that because it's kind of open. But yeah, while I've got the pollen, and I'm gonna just give it a whirl and see. I might need glasses on that one. Yeah, all right, we'll just wing it. Just gonna mash it a little bit. When that little, I don't know what it's called, scepter or whatever it is, falls off, I just kind of mash it at that point, just looking for any morsel of pollen. And that's all I got. That's all I got for pollen. So I've got a flower that's going to open in there. Right here, that will open in a day or two. So if something else needs to be pollinated, hopefully I'll have enough. there's one that's way in here. Let me just see if I can't tip up the tripod just enough. See that way down over there? It's not worth saving, so I'll let it go. I mean, I don't know. I have a little pollen, so maybe I can try. I don't know. There might be a couple little morsels. I'll give it a whirl. I'm not hopeful, but stranger things have happened. So I'll just close up that little bloom, kind of force it a little bit to see if I can try to save it. But again, I'm not, I'm banking on this guy right here and the one that's over here. All right, so let's get you guys back up and stare at this guy over here for a minute. Let me put this back down. I want to adjust the light just a little bit. There's not much that's crowding maybe on this side, but I think we're pretty good with the distribution of light on this tower. It's pretty rare that you get that. Let me get the cords out of the way. Again, the dollies don't like to drive over the cords. All right, not much going on with the lettuce other than it's just getting bigger. There, celery. That was one of the last ones I put in. But now that those big heads have had a little more room and they're not crowded, I've actually harvested quite a bit off of this one, and I feel like it's filled in a little bit more. This guy too. I'm going to leave it alone. I think this weekend I'll probably harvest and pull, either toss or go feed the horses. Celery's looking good. It's a little spotty down on the bottom. I think that's from the transplant. So if you saw that last week in the highlight or even in the daily, finger has recovered, in case anybody was wondering. I killed it. Oh my gosh, killed it. All right, so let me go switch the camera over to right so that we can take a peek at what's going on with the watermelon. If you guys have any questions, please throw them in there. I do look periodically, but as you can see, I am away from the computer, but I'm here. I am here. I'm just waiting for the screen to kick on. There we go. All right. Let's go right. And good. All right. I'm on here. I just want to check something. Make sure this is all connected and doing really well. It is. Let's go here. Make sure this one's connected. Doing well. See a little line on the vertical. I can fix that later. Hard to do it down here just because of the lag. But everybody seems pretty healthy. Okay, so all the streams are doing real well. All right, let's get back to work. Okay, all right. Before we go there, it's always sad. I never like an empty tower in my room. It makes me sad. But it was time to clean it out, and I do know that the seeds, the cucumber seeds, are going to be living over there. And the plan is, if you didn't watch yesterday, is to go ahead and start them, cucumbers there. And then once they are to the point where they start to reach here, we're going to break down the old cucumber, because it really is harvesting, a lot. But I'm not finding a lot of male, which is the cucumber, itself, that you got to pollinate. So you got to flip it. But we'll get there in just a second. All right, so let's get in here Something I noticed overnight, because that's when the magic happens, when we're not in the room, which is, hate that. You know, it's right there, kind of sunk behind. So that means that we've got a little more growth to it, a little more weight, and it's sunk down on the vine. So I really do think I have time this afternoon to go to Michael's, and I need to get the ribbon that we talked about. Remember, instead of using twine, I'm going to find some silk, or faux silk ribbon, like on a big spool. I'll do, like, probably white, just because, like, so I can see it better. And I feel like the scrunching will be softer on any vine that I do that work around, versus the twine over time will cut into it. So, and then I need to think of putting that into, so I have an idea, and I think I can get it because they've got like a wedding section. So those see-through bags that you get, maybe as a favor. I'll see if they have them, and they're usually on like a little ribbon at the very top. You can close them. So I thought that if I put one of these in one of the bags and I tie it, then what I can do is I can run a workaround from the top to the bag, and then it can live in the bag, still get the light, and expand as it needs, but not have the weight where it will tax the vine. So the other thing too, I will say this, I learned this last year, and I'll share this with you now. I broke my tripod and it's driving me crazy today. That So when you look, I want to zoom in for 1 second. When you look at the watermelon, look closely. You have the watermelon here. And we know that these are sugar babies, so they don't get massive like the ones you see in the big grocery stores. They get kind of like about the size of a little more than like a softball. How do you know when they're ripe? So I had to do a little research. And what happens is this, see this little curlicue right here? When that gets brown, when that turns brown, this is ripe. I never knew that. I was like, oh, that's so cool. So that's kind of my little indicator as to when it will be ripe, not the bottom, because that's where the flower is. And I can just, I'll leave it. It'll fall off naturally, but that's how you know it gets brown. All right, so let's back out of here. And I'm still looking for others. We have lots and lots of flowers. There and up there, tons and tons of flowers, got beautiful foliage, but we need more watermelon. And I know they're coming, and I need to be patient, but that's not one of my strengths in life, I guess. I like instant gratification. I want this thing to be covered in watermelon. And they're latching onto each other. Yeah, no. That would make me so happy. I'm just going to wind this behind, hopefully not break it. I feel like everything this week I've been breaking. I do see one that's over here. See that guy right there? He's got good stripe, good color, and he's right there. I'm going to try not to move him. And he's in direct line of that light. So he seems to be relatively happy. So I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to disturb the light. I've stopped moving things around, other than when I go and I add that wand, that big tall wand that came in. I just need to do the video. I'm going to do that this weekend because I have to. There's a certain format that I have to follow because it's a sponsor. That's kind of exciting. I have my first sponsor. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm willing to do it because it's, it's a good light, and I'm not going to sponsor a product that I won't use. I know there's a few. There's one creator out there that's doing this niche, if you want to call it that, and over on a different format or platform, I should say, she's I don't know, like I feel like she's turned into QVC. I just want to stick with stuff that I use, whether it be seeds. Um, you know, I use the Tower Garden, nutrients A and B, that won't change. If it's a tool or something that I feel is important that could help the community, then I'll sponsor it, or I'll just buy it, and then test it to make sure that it is worthy. Um, and then you guys can go for it. But I don't like that to do that. I know I mentioned something about go into Amazon. I just got to make sure that everything is, all the dots are connected. They're pretty tough over there. And again, the products that I would be sponsoring would be seeds. I'm just pruning, guys. I should be getting some scissors to do this, to be honest with you. Would be seeds, lights, pretty much everything that's in the nursery. There's just a little brown patch back here, so I'm just gonna open it up. You're not gonna ever see me sponsor, sandals, or I'm just not gonna do that. If it has something that's completely 100% related to tower gardening, gardening in general, to grow your food, I mean, damn, you can wear any sandal you want. To me, that's just, I mean, I get it. She's trying to make a living, but it's it's like how do I, if anybody watches the Housewives of, what was it? Was it OC? I forget. Or Beverly Hills, that Brandy girl. She did so much filler and Botox in her face that she's now disformed, and she was really like, oh, get Botox, get this, get that. I'm not doing that. If I think it's something worthy and you guys might want to try it or need it, then I would suggest it. That's why when they approached me about this light, I said yes. I'm happy to do it, because I really do think a tall light that has those big wands that I can adjust would be really perfect, for something like this tower, this watermelon tower. So there's not a whole lot to pollinate, just a couple, and I might just do that off camera since you guys have seen a lot of that. There's one up there, guys. I think that one right there, he's got really good color and good potential. So again, he's right there and smack dab in the light. There's a little one over here on the side, but I don't see those vertical lines, but it's directly in the light. So, we'll let it be for right now. But as you can see, this thing is, let me just, yeah, it's all the way up. Come out here as an angle. You can see, look at this thing is mammoth. It's really, really, really big. And even at the top, I got to clip those so that it just stays down just a little bit, because there's no light up there for them. I mean, there is some light that kind of ricochets off the top, and maybe with the other light, I'll take the spider light that's on the other side. And let me switch the 180 since I'm over here. What I can do, is take that spider light And instead of being down, I can twist it like the one that's on the cucumber. So there'll be light from the new vertical lamp coming, and then that can be on the top just as a bonus. Got to work that one out. But there's just, see how all that growth is just popping up there? I'm going to trim it back. And while I've got you, I might just do that now. If I can wind it, I will. But, and that's fine. Like this guy just needs to come down. Actually behind, if I can get it to go, yeah, okay, that will work because then there's a little bit of light. But this guy over here, there's just nothing up there. So I just think I'm gonna hold it on for dear life. I'm just gonna chop it. And then I'm gonna start to trim back because I really just want this to focus on growing some fruit. So I'm gonna clip these tops. Give me some fruit. Like there's one. This one over here I can wind towards the light over there. But here's another one. All right. I think what I'll do is I'll come back later and pollinate that. There's just a couple. We didn't get to the cucumber yesterday. We kind of just cruised over it. But I will say that it's got some big fruit now. So let me go. What would be the best camera for this guy? I want to say the right. Let's compare it. If I move the seed cam out of the way. Yes. By seed cam. There we go. Okay. Yeah. We'll put this over here. Well, we could do the tour. Let's do the tour. So just big stuff. I need to actually harvest some of these big boys this weekend. There's one on the bottom, just a baby. Two there, one there. I really hoped that I could string some up on the top, but it didn't really happen, but it's okay. I forced it out. One right there. Down there. Ooh, whoops. The fan feels good. I just kicked it. Little baby back there. And there's one on the very bottom over there. So I'm just going to set this up and see if I can't find, this is where I want to see if I can't pollinate anything. Because I know I can go through these cucumbers that are on here real fast. I love cucumbers and they're just so good for you. Let me just clean the brush. And just clean your brush, either run it over water or, clean it like it's a makeup brush. I'm just using a paper towel, damp. And you can run over the faucet too. Just don't want to leave the room right now. So, the best of your ability so it's clean, soft, and dry, okay? And I'm just going to get in here and see what I can find. Although I will get glasses because those darn flowers are so small. It has to be like 1,000,000 degrees in here. And I've got the fan going. It's been really warm here for the past couple of days. It's just been like this heat. I won't say heat wave, but it's just been a pump. And we're on the, well, not on the water, but we're like, 3, 4 streets back. So you get the ocean breeze, which is lovely, but man, oh man, it's warm. So I'm just looking, just taking a peek, see if I can find any males. It's just mostly beautiful little female flowers that are just saying hi, how are you? Being a house plant. Oh, there's one. Okay, let me get the garbage because the flowers are falling everywhere. One, finally, yes. All right, so let me grab some pollen. Somebody made a really good observation yesterday that they can't see the pollen when they go to pollinate, and it's true. You just want to swirl your soft brush in the center of the female and then reciprocate to the male. Maybe find if you've got two female flowers, juggle between the two. Like I said, that's that whole combination of be your own bee. If you've got more than one, why not? Oh, and I get to stand in front of the fan for a minute. Oh. When I was out on my bike yesterday on Ocean Drive, I was concerned that once I got towards the peninsula where you're right on the water, that it was going to be cold. But it wasn't. It was actually refreshing. I took away that I wasn't like on the peninsula for too long in case Libby got cold. But she was fine. She's so cute. Man, oh man, she has been on the hunt for bunnies. On the hunt. She likes to chase them out of the yard, which, I feel bad, but they're fast. I don't think she'll hurt them. I think she just is doing her job. I just don't want them under my shed having babies. That would not be good. I would, obviously protect the babies at all cost, but I don't want that. I got to order that. It's plastic wire that we're going to put on certain areas where the bunnies come in. I got to do it. Got to do it. All right, I'm looking around. Got one. I don't like this leaf. So funny. Like I know this tower is super healthy, but it just starts to look shabby after a while with all the deadheading, and maybe that was my thinking of trying to turn this over in a little bit because it'll take a moment. I know the seeds will come up fast and we'll start it, and then once I get everything harvested, we'll flip it, and maybe at that point my experiment with the strawberries that I mentioned earlier will take. We'll see. Like, you just got to try. I just watched this woman on YouTube and I was like, oh, mold. I don't want mold. But all right, I don't see a whole lot. Let me just look down on this one. There's one on the end there. I know people have mentioned that there are self-pollinating cucumbers and that they do exist, but maybe that's for outdoors. I wouldn't trust it on the towers indoors. Okay. I just don't see a whole lot that needs to be pollinated. It's just a lot of pretty yellow flowers and lots of them. All right. So I'm going to load this on the loop for you guys, and then I'm going to work on the highlight reel. God, I'm sweating. For tomorrow, this afternoon, do a little more pollinating down here. And I'm going to go to Michael's. That's going to be one of my projects, to go get that ribbon and see if I can't find those bags. So let's do that. Okay, so the close-up is off, but so you guys can stay with me if you want. I'm going to do a little pollinating. There's a watermelon that's not going to make it. This cucumber's getting real heavy down here. Oh boy. These stems, man. I'm going to rest it on top of another stem in between two leaves. All right. So we'll come back and clean that up. Let me see what I got for flowers over here. Which camera are we on? The right? Yeah. You guys can see me today. I'm very, very bright with this orange, kind of a, I don't know what you call it, coral sweatshirt. Like I stick out. I stick out. Here we go. All right, let's just get in here and see if I can pollinate anything. Gently, so I don't disturb the big guy in there. Oh, there's one. All right, I need glasses for this one for sure. People seem to be really loving the loop in the afternoon. I just see a lot of people like clicking in, clicking off. You know, just seeing what, you know, what they can see. I know people are working. I understand that. So much happens in this room, um, even without the close up. Like taking down that tower, I just had to come back and like clean the floor. We got one way up there. And we got two. Of course, we got to be way up there. I don't know if I've got one. Here's a flower right there. Sometimes being short has its advantages, like if you want to wear high heels, but when you're trying to do something, get something out of a cabinet, or it's a challenge. All right, I'll get that one from the other side. Another watermelon turned black. It's okay. It's going to happen. Sometimes just by using the bigger leaves from a different branch, you can kind of layer slightly over the vine. Will hold it in place so it's not hitting this. I see another one that didn't make it. There's just so many on here that you're not going to see all of them. And even if they were deep in, you know, are they getting enough light? That's the question. Like this section right here is so condensed that if there was one deep in, I'd probably just let it go because it's not gonna get the light that it needs. And as this one sinks, it's gonna need more light. That's why we gotta, it's time. It's time to get it into a little sack. All right. Let's do the 180 now. So I can pollinate on the back. But I think by next week we're gonna have a few green beans, probably like enough for a small meal. Like this guy you can't be touching the light. You gotta come on. I do love green beans. I'm not gonna lie. Another superfood. What do we got going on? Another dead one. I feel like the ones to pollinate they're up on the top. And that might be because the temperature is a little warmer where I'm standing. And the extra lights from the spider light. Like I have a lot of blooms. Which is nice because I can just grab as much pollen as I need. Like here's one that's trying. Ooh, okay, not anymore. I tried to wind it and it just snapped off. There we go. We're 4. We're 4 for snapping this week. I'm on a roll. It felt so good to be back on my bike yesterday. I thought maybe I would be a little sore, but like I said to my husband, if I had done nothing all winter, I think I would have been. But I felt good this morning. Like I want to do it again, but I don't. I don't know. It's a little bit cooler today, but we'll wait. We'll see. I got one back here that's got some good lines to it. I'm just gonna, I adjusted those lights. I want to make sure the light is back on that one. There was one that was back here that, oh, it's not quite open, so I'm not going to bend it. I'll wait till it opens just a little bit more. But this guy, oh my goodness. This light, I just feel like this whole thing's got a, whole tower needs to go that way. It's like 10 degrees hotter up here. Wow, 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 wow. I thought there was one over here. I said I was going to get, and I can't. Where'd you go? Where are you? It was like right at this line. I got that one. I got that one. It was like right on the other side. They just hide. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let me just look through. See if there's inside. Again, there's just not a lot of light right here, so I'm not going to worry. I've tried to pollinate a few things that are on the inside here, but nothing successful has taken, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time right where this dark spot is. But over through here and the sides, this is a dead zone. Unfortunately, I could take the spider light when we put the other light in place here and here, clip it on the back side, and that would cover that. That would be actually, that's probably a pretty good idea, because the upper light will cover right and left, and this can snap and cover upper. Okay, we have a plan. We've got a plan. All right. So why don't we do this? Why don't we get this on the loop, because it was about a little under an hour, so you guys can start to see the close-ups. I know people tend to love that. It definitely makes a difference when you can see that. Push that one back just a smidge. Okay. And, you know, something's dripping back here, so that's not good. Let me just figure that one out. So anything you have on the tomato, let me just, I'm going to switch the screen. What would be the best? Kind of that one, or maybe left. Take a peek at this. Your top of your tower. I'm going to be working on that back right corner, okay? Whenever you see something that's dripping, that means that you probably have a tomato that's overripe. That's why I don't pollinate the ones that are way, way, way inside. And that definitely just happened. So let me get the garbage, because I know it's going to come splattering down and it's going to be a hot mess. So I'm going to lift up this section and carefully just, oh yeah, I can feel it. Ooh. It's, yeah, all right there. See? They're ripe. I need to pick them, but I've had that worse, where it's just a whole area. That was just 1, 2 tomatoes that were a little overripe. Whoops. Little green one. Clean the floor. Tomato goo. Top of the tower. Let's super glue it. Kidding. I can't believe that worked. You guys got to go check that out, honestly. When the highlight reel gets posted, go and watch me do it and then watch the next day. Like fast forward to that section so you can actually see the result of it. If you crack a big stem like that, I woke up and thinking, no way. There's no way this is going to work because of the moisture. But it did. And then it adhered itself to the rock wall. So it has a stable point to it. So that's actually a good thing too. But stay tuned on that one. All right. Let's put this on the 180. I'm going to go load that loop for you guys. I'm going to be in and out of the room while that's going on because I got to clean up that mess over there with the flowers. But for right now, I'm going to go load. good morning to everybody here. Welcome. And I'll have you over here. So yesterday, if you guys were watching, I broke my tripod. So the little probably because I didn't turn it on. Let them grow. Let them grow for a little bit until they get to the point where they're maybe like this high, you know, from the cover, and take it off. And then just use your spider lights and adjust your spider lights according so that you don't burn leaves, especially pepper leaves, because they're very fragile. And then when you have the root ball that looks like a little spaghetti on the bottom, you put it in your tower. I don't deviate. Every time I've tried something different, epic failure. Okay, so I see these people struggle and I go, why don't they come to YouTube and do a little more research? I'm not picking on them, please. I'm not being mean. But I want to do strawberries. I'm scared to death of the bare roots. I just am. I want to do it, but sometimes I just don't trust seed companies, especially that. I don't want to introduce anything soil down here because it could lead to other issues, meaning aphids. Most times it's probably just fine, but I'm not going to chance it. So yesterday I'm at Whole Foods and I go, okay, I can do this. I watched this woman take the side of a strawberry with the seeds and it's got some pulp. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into a clean, like if you watched yesterday, I'm going to lay it flat. And I know that the strawberry will get moldy and I could probably pick that off, but what I'm looking for is the seeds to germinate. So I've never tried this before, but it's the only way that I can think would be the cleanest way that's not soil-based. I'm gonna wash the strawberry first, obviously. That's not gonna introduce any pest into my room because I introduce one pest and I am in big trouble, even though I've got ladybugs and they will do their job, but who knows? Maybe they go on strong, I don't know. But anyway, let's get going to the green beans. Enough about strawberries. Stay posted. But again, I never, ever deviate. And that's how you germinate a seed from a grocery store, whether it be cucumber. You gotta put them in this. Peppers. I don't know what else you could do. I mean, I could try it with the strawberries, but the seeds are so small that I think I'd rather let them have the sugar from the actual skin and then just worry about the mold later. Stay tuned on that. All right, green beans up. Here we go. So guys, what I told you earlier, oh look at, there's a little ladybug right there. These things go like crazy, they do. Earlier in the week, as you're gonna see, I'm gonna be posting that highlight reel tomorrow morning after I load this one into it and then just do the intro. So that green bean that you're looking at right now in the close-up, and then you probably can't see it right here on the cameras because it's in a blind spot, but in the close-up you're gonna see that is, I don't, probably 4 inches. That's what it grew overnight, like literally this week. So they just go crazy. And clearly, Mr. Ladybug is in agreement. All right, moving on. So if you saw the live this week, you know that the cloned tomato tower got a little haircut, not a big haircut. It was very, very minor compared to what I did to the other one. So what I did was it forced the flowers that are on there to come on, hurry up, let's go. Let's go ahead and take that energy from, instead of growing foliage, to putting it into the energy of growing the fruit. And so as a result, I feel like now that we're at the end of the week, not only can you still see a lot of the tomato flowers, but they are closed up, which means hopefully, I would say, 80 to 90% are pollinated. But just for fun, let's see if I can get some pollen out of that flower. No. I got these pretty good the other day. So I think most of them have released their pollen. And once they release, they close up, fall off. I do. Most of these are closed up, so I'm not really. Well, maybe that one. Maybe a little better. But I just noticed there's a branch that's, this is the green bean branch that I've been playing around with. It now wants to be part of the tomato tower, and it has green beans on it right there. So, yeah, wants to be part of that tower, and that's fine. I'm gonna just let it do its thing. All right, this is our older tower, still in really, really good shape. And if you can go back and you compare, and you can do this, you can go into the highlight reel of last week and fast forward just to the sections of this particular mature tomato tower. You can see that the foliage is what? Grown back in. So what I do love is that, and each day I keep looking, and then there's one right there. So we'll go ahead and just tap that and see if we can't get a little pollen. I must have hit it yesterday. Isn't this loud? It brings the new meaning of be your own bee to a whole new level. Let's see if I can get some pollen out of this guy. A little bit. I think I got these pretty good. But what I am seeing right here is some new suckers. Okay, this is all new growth. All new. And I'm sure there's some in the back as well. Even down there. That's all new. So I'll have to get back there. I wonder if there's flowers back there that I don't see. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull it out and see if I can't get back there and pollinate if I need to. Oh my God, this is so loud. And there's a few. If I find a flower, I should get up close to the mic here. If I find a flower that's on the inside, like way, way, way in the inside of that tower, I generally won't pollinate it. I'll leave it alone because as the foliage grows in, what happens is that I won't see that and it will rot and create what? Powdery mildew. So I've learned over time to let it go. If you only have one tomato plant, then yes, go ahead and pollinate. But for me, I got so much going on, excuse me. The tomato pollen is getting to me. All right, let's go take a peek at the broccoli. The broccoli is getting big. It's kind of scary now. I know that this gets really big, and you know I planted a fair amount. So as you can see, what's my rule right here? I try not to have things over the lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle some of these leaves away. I'm I'm gonna find a leaf that I can, whoops, not crack. That would be 3 for 3 this week. And just kind of keep them away. I don't want to trim them, not yet. But man, oh man, the stems are getting thick. They're getting thick. I'm gonna take you out back. I'm gonna show you one. Look down, okay? I'm gonna pivot this and see if I can zoom in a little bit to right there. Look how thick that's getting. So it's really pretty. I do love this. And I really am kind of excited to harvest when it's time, of course. I planted it all at the same time. All right, let's move on to the big boys. So yesterday, if you tuned in, I pollinated, let's tighten this up a little bit, 2 flowers, 2 zucchini. And we reviewed what happens when, let me just move this out of the way for you. When one of the flowers is facing down,